Hello there, good evening. Welcome to Look North. Our top story tonight. A warning to parents as some children as young as 11 spend up to 50 hours a week on mobile devices.
We're noticing students that tend to be quite quiet or sleepy in school time because they're spending a lot of time, their own time, online.
We'll assess the impact on children's education. Also tonight, a new proposal to restart Sheffield's controversial street improvement project while preserving the trees. The Grassroots Tennis Club in Sheffield, facing an uncertain future due to a lack of funds. And hitting the right notes, the Halifax musicians who enjoyed a jam with their rock idols.
Well, it's been a lovely start to the week. Spring-like temperatures, the crocuses are out in full bloom, but it is an unsettled week ahead. Lower temperatures and rain is on the way. Join me for that week ahead forecast.
Hello, hope you had a lovely weekend. First tonight, teachers in Yorkshire say they're seeing the impact of children spending too much time on devices, with some as young as 11 spending up to 50 hours a week on a screen. Now, it comes on the day the government has announced new guidance to stop the use of mobile phones in schools in England. Let's take a look at some statistics, because according to Ofcom, 44% of 9-year-olds own a mobile phone. Now, by the time they reach high school, 91% of 11-year-olds in the UK own a smartphone. And almost 3 in 10 children aged 8 to 17 have experienced someone being nasty or hurtful to them via apps or platforms. Teachers say children are tired in class, unable to focus, and it's impacting relationship development. Meanwhile, one psychologist is warning it could impact children into adulthood if tougher boundaries aren't set at home. I've been to Wales High School in Rotherham to see how they're trying to educate children to be more responsible online.
Put your hands up if you have your own mobile phone.
Year 7s at Wales High School in Rotherham are discussing what they do and how they behave online. 20 pupils on the left-hand side of the room say they act differently online than in person. The 3 in the middle say they're not sure. Only one child says their behaviour doesn't change at all. Some of them have experienced bullying, inappropriate behaviour on social media and gaming, and even been threatened.
On a lot of the group chats and stuff, people tend to call people names and stuff.
In gaming, I hear lots of homophobic comments, so I want that to stop.
Well, I have seen some things on TikTok that are not very nice to people, but I've also experienced some of bullying.
Wales High recently introduced a no-phone policy which teachers say is having a positive impact on children's well-being during school hours. But it's screen time at home that's creating conflict in the classroom.
Particularly with our younger students that tend to be quite quiet or sleepy in school time because they're spending a lot of time, their own time, online. And we're also noticing a lot of issues in terms of conflicts between friendship groups when they're at a key time where they're developing those friendship groups. A lot of that now is happening online.
Anne has run the anti-bullying company for 20 years. She says she's delivering more workshops like this to children as young as 5.
We can't give them mixed messages. So we say, do your homework online, do this online, do the research online. It's all about the balance and the responsibility and the education. So how many hours over the week?
I'd say 50 to 60.
50 to 60, oh my gosh.
What I got from this is that they were quite surprised by how much time they're spending online as opposed to in real life.
Yeah.
Okay, so we know that devices have an impact on the pincer grip, which impacts their ability to hold a pen. So how many of you are seeing this in your schools?
Over in Leeds, primary school teachers are discussing device use with a psychologist. They too have concerns around excessive screen time.
They're finding it hard to interact with others. They're quite solitary. As simple things as making eye contact.
Seeing them play games that they play online like Fortnite, Call of Duty, GTA in a playground, which for anyone is not good, let alone primary school children.
A lack of patience and ability to wait for a reward, the need to have it and have it now.
And what makes you think that that's down to devices?
speaking to them, what they describe that they do on weekends and holidays and things.
And a lot of what happens in the classroom, parents are oblivious to. They're not seeing the complete impacts of it than we are.
Today's session has been really interesting. There's 20 teachers from primary schools across Leeds, and they're all here because they say they see the impact that devices are having on children's well-being, on their health and on their physical skills. Hearing their stories and how similar they all are is a real eye-opener.
It's about balance, you know, it's about us, you know, everything in moderation. We know that mental health services, especially child and adolescent mental health services, are absolutely overwhelmed with children presenting with mental health problems. But we can stop that, and all parents can be doing this, and that is to address their device use.
Back at Wales High School, these 11-year-olds are doing just that and reflecting on what they've learnt.
To go on it less and only send, like, photos to people, you know. I've kind of realised how much I actually go on my phone and that I should probably cut it down a lot. I spend a lot of time online and should probably spend more time playing with my friends or just going outside.
Well, we want to hear your views on this, so grab a pen or grab your phone as well and have a look at the screen. We want you to look at this QR code. We'll tell you how to do it very shortly, but first we're going to talk to psychologist Dr. Charlotte Armitage. Charlotte, that was a real eye-opener for both of us, I think, filming in those schools. 50 hours a week, what impact can that have on a child if that continues?
Well, I think we've got to think, if a child is spending 50 hours a week outside of school, where are they having time to process their emotions? Where are they having time to connect with the people around them in their family units, so their parents, their siblings? When are they spending time doing extracurricular activities, which are good for the brain and the body? When are they exercising? Where are they fitting all of this in? I mean, it sounds to me if there's that much time spent on a device without even mentioning the content that they're accessing on there, that it's probably quite sedentary, sat behind a device, which isn't good for your physical health or your mental health.
There's this real peer pressure, especially when children go to high school, to get a phone, to get a smartphone. So what boundaries can parents set in place to ensure that the children are safe?
Yeah, I think parents need to become more familiar with what children are doing on these devices. Take full advantage of the parental controls. So there are actually some really fantastic parental controls on the devices that you can set from your phone. I put them in place. I'd encourage no devices at dinner time, but ideally delay introducing a device into your child's life, because once it's in, it's much harder to take it out.
The government guidance today stops mobile phones in schools, but is this really down to parents?
Yes, I think it is. It really is. I think schools are already doing this. Children shouldn't even be on the phones in classrooms, so I think teachers are already implementing these boundaries at school, but it really is down to how often children are using devices at home. Devices should be treated as a treat, not as an integrated part of the child's life. So much like fast food is a treat, devices ideally should be a treat for children, not just something they can do whatever they want, whenever they want.
Yeah, I think it's something a lot of parents can identify with. Charlotte, thanks for your time. Now, here is how you can send us a message with your comments on this story. Scan the QR code that's on your screen now to get in touch with us on WhatsApp. How are mobile devices affecting your children or your grandchildren? It's one thing banning them in schools, but what can be done at home? Let us know your views. We look forward to hearing from you, and we'll read them at the end of the programme. Now, a new consultation was launched today on plans to restart Sheffield's controversial street improvement project. The work saw thousands of trees cut down, sparking widespread protest. You may remember the project was paused in 2018 and the council later apologised and admitted misleading the public. Well, now the council is putting forward new designs for 26 roads in the city. Our reporter Mark Ansell is live in Sheffield for us this evening. Mark, what more can you tell us?
Well, Amy, thousands of trees were felled as part of the £2.2 billion street improvement project, but it sparked public outrage and anger, nowhere more so than here on Rustlings Road, where at 5 a.m. one November 2016 morning, contractors wielding chainsaws were about to fell more trees when protesters largely stopped them doing that. And 3 of those protesters were arrested and later released without charge, although some of the trees here were felled and were replaced with saplings. Now, last year, Sheffield Council actually admitted misleading the public and the courts with documents published during the scandal and apologised to the protesters. Back during the scandal, the council was run by the Labour Party. It's now a coalition of Labour, Lib Dem and Green. And we've been speaking to Councillor Joe Otten, who leads the committee responsible for restarting this street tree project. And we asked him how this time around it would be different. He, by the way, is a Liberal Democrat.
We launched today a consultation on how we're going to deal with this street, which is one of the outstanding streets from the trees dispute. The trees are all still up. The proposals that we're consulting on involve lots of build-outs around the trees so that they can be saved. It does mean the loss of quite a lot of parking. The old policy was to cut down lots of trees unnecessarily, if you remember, and there was a massive protest about it, quite rightly, which as a then opposition member I was supportive of. But what it's left us with is a little bit of a legacy and some very entrenched and polarised positions. So we have this process that involves an independent tree panel which has seen these proposals and agreed them that are now going to the residents, and we hope through following the consultation we'll be able to reach a consensus.
Christine King is from Sheffield Tree Action Group and joins me now. Christine, do you have faith in the new street improvement project?
I do, yes, and as I'm part of the strategy partnership, we are working with the council to deliver these solutions so that as many trees as possible can be maintained whilst giving the residents the road network that they were promised so long ago.
But to keep the trees, they're going to have to lose some parking. Is that worth it, bearing in mind some residents are not happy with that?
Well, I believe so, yes. I mean, partly it's because the build-out's quite big to allow for growth of the trees. However, the council has done surveys which show that the parking provision afterwards is close to the current number of cars parked now, and I'm confident of the ingenuity of people to find a few more.
Good stuff. Thank you, Christine. We'll be following this one with interest, Amy. Back to you.
We certainly will, Mark. Thank you. You are watching Monday's Look North, still to come on tonight's programme. Forget Gladys Knight, we meet the saxophonist on the midnight train to Harrogate. But before that, let's take a look at some other stories coming into our newsroom this evening. A trial date has been set for a Rotherham woman accused of 12 child sex offence charges. 37-year-old Nikita Unwin denies 6 counts of causing a child to engage in sexual activity and 6 counts of sexual activity with a child at Sheffield Crown Court today. She's been bailed until her trial in April 2025. Police appealing for information to locate a man following a serious assault in Wakefield. Kasper Kich-Olewski is wanted in relation to an attack that happened in the early hours of Saturday morning. A 40-year-old man was treated in hospital for serious injuries after he was chased by 2 people and attacked with a machete. A 33-year-old man has been arrested. Primary school pupils in Bradford watched ballet for the first time today as part of a project to coincide with Bradford's UK City of Culture status. The Royal Opera House and Royal Ballet brought Chance to Dance to the Alhambra. A mix of live performance and audience interaction introduced children to ballet, and it's hoped it will inspire a new generation of dancers to get involved. Oh, what a great opportunity for them. We love the ballet. Tennis, anyone? It was set up 73 years ago and has since become a vital part of the community. Thorncliffe Tennis Club in Sheffield is a place that exists solely to provide affordable sessions for local people. Now, the trouble is it might not last much longer unless it can raise vital money to improve its facilities. Simon Thake reports.
But this is the only tennis club for miles in North Sheffield, and it's for everyone.
Well, it makes it very difficult for us because we know our membership base, we know the area that we operate in. There's not a great deal of money around. Subscription fees, which are less than £100 a year, are available to everybody.
I love everyone who plays here and I just love it. I wouldn't want to go to any snobbish other tennis clubs out here.
Whilst the club prides itself on its underdog status and keeping membership fees affordably low, unfortunately the cost of upkeep can be high. Much needed resurfacing for the 3 courts will cost £50,000 and the clubhouse is damp and mouldy and needs more than a lick of paint. A crowdfunder has been set up to help raise vital funds.
they aren't the greatest facilities in all honesty. It can be you can feel a bit guilty and a bit ashamed, especially when these big clubs are coming from across the other side of Sheffield.
The courts need a bit more help. They've been like this for a very long time and they're just not really the best conditions.
Our existing playing surface, which is Tar Macadam, it's been down for 18 years. It came with a 10-year warranty, so it's almost twice past its sell-by date. If we don't find the funds and if we're not able to renew this court surface within the next couple of years or so at the very most, then ultimately we won't have a club.
S35 High Green might feel a little different to SW19, but that's not to say folk aren't proud of the traditions here. It was 73 years ago that Thorncliffe Tennis Club was set up. Eric, now 92, was one of the founding members.
Just something I fancied playing, you know. Oh, it's great. I still always enjoyed it, playing here, yeah.
If Eric is a nod to the proud heritage of the club, 4-year-old Freddie, the youngest member of the team, is perhaps a glimpse to its future.
He just loves to be outside, loves to run around. He likes being the ball boy for the older ones. He loves it. He likes to hit that ball as hard as he can.
So what does the future hold for this family club? Well, if they can raise the funds they need, whilst remaining accessible to local people, they really will be hitting the target. Game, set and match. Simon Thake, BBC Look North, Sheffield.
In the Championship, Sheffield Wednesday gave their survival hopes a boost by claiming 3 points against fellow strugglers Millwall. First half goals from Ike Ugbo and Anthony Musaba sealed the Owls' second win in 3 games to move them within 4 points of the Lions. And Leeds United reclaimed second spot in the table as Willie Gnonto's strike set them on their way to an assured 2-0 victory over Plymouth Argyle at a soggy home park. In League One, Herbie Kane hit the winner for promotion-chasing Barnsley as they beat second-bottom Fleetwood 2-1. The Tigers are League One's best travellers, with just 1 away defeat all season. In League Two, there was a resounding 5-1 victory for Doncaster over Grimsby, moving the Rovers further from danger. That lovely goal from Luke Molyneux there at 8 minutes, getting the game off to the perfect start. And Bradford City continue their push towards the League Two playoff places, beating rock-bottom Sutton United to earn a 3rd successive league win, Callum Kavanagh with the only goal of the game. And congratulations to Sheffield swimmer Max Litchfield, who won a silver medal at the World Aquatics Championships this weekend in Doha in the men's 400 metres medley. It's the first World Championships medal of his career. Good timing in an Olympic year.
Do you want to nick my next line?
I can do if you want, yeah.
Thanks, Al. Now, imagine meeting your rock idol in the street, only to be invited to perform to his fans at one of his gigs. Well, that is what happened to 4 bandmates from Halifax who bumped into Pete Doherty from the Libertines in Leeds last week. The Caymans hope their impromptu support act will become their big break. They've been talking to our reporter, Olivia Richwald.
Is this the selfie that will catapult 4 teenagers from Halifax to superstardom? When members of the Caymans spotted Pete Doherty on a Leeds street, they didn't expect a few hours later they'd be sharing a stage.
So we went over, asked him for a photo, we got a nice picture with him, and then he said, have you got any music? So we showed him some of our songs, and he said, is that what you sound like live? So we thought, well, yeah, it is. And that was it. He said, do you want to come play tonight? And obviously we couldn't say no.
It was so personable, it didn't feel like you were speaking to someone who sold millions of records. It was just like you'd known him forever.
The band had just an hour to beg and borrow instruments from the Leeds Conservatoire and then join Pete for his show at Leeds venue The Wardrobe.
What did it feel like to be up there and see all those people looking at you then?
Nerve-wracking, really nerve-wracking, but it's just what we do now, I suppose.
It's quite heroic of Pete to sort of let a smaller band come on and play in front of an audience that knows what they want. I think that's quite good of him to do that. So.
It was 2002 when Pete Doherty's band The Libertines started to achieve worldwide success. Here they are performing on Top of the Pops in 2003. Pete then had a well-documented battle with drug addiction, but has since reunited with his bandmates.
But it's up to you. It's up to you.
Caymans are all music students at Calderdale College, and until this gig, the maximum crowd they'd perform to was 60. They hope this performance will be the start of many.
We got off stage and Pete was stood there and he just went, "Good job, lads, you know what I mean, you handled the pressure well." And then we stood outside after, just all waiting to sort of meet back up to drive home. And it's the first time that we've had people come up and go, "Can we have pictures? Can we have photos? Can we have autographs?" It's the dream for all of us to make music as a sort of way of living, and it's kind of just given us a taste of that, and we just want more of it.
The Caymans are on Instagram and TikTok and have a new single coming out in the next few weeks. Olivia Richwald, BBC Look North, Leeds.
You heard them here first. Now, keeping with music, for many on the train home from Leeds to Harrogate after a night out on the town, it usually signals the end of the party, doesn't it? But not for passengers on one carriage over the weekend. 67-year-old retired music teacher was spotted carrying his saxophone on board. After playing a gig in Leeds, Mr Duffy let the party continue. Take a look at this.
Jumped on the train, it was quite lively. I was carrying my saxophone case. I put it on the top shelf so everyone knew it was a musical instrument. And then they're saying, "You must play a tune. You've got to play. It's our hen do. We're so happy." And I thought, well, I don't have time to play. And then I thought, okay. Took the saxophone out and started playing Tequila. It's all about making people happy, and myself as a musician, you could just feel the vibes on the train, and everyone was going crazy. I'm looking out the train again thinking, wow, I need to get off the train. And I said, okay, one more tune, the Pink Panther. So I made them all click the offbeats and I played it and they all sang. So it was infectious. I thought, I've got to play the saxophone. But I also thought, I've got to get off the train. I mean, obviously, I could have played all the way to Harrogate or York, but I don't live there. I live in Headingley. Yeah, playing on a train is a bit tricky with a saxophone because obviously I don't want to get my teeth knocked out or bash into anyone. But I mean, I like seeing people happy, and I think I made them even more happy on the way home. Yeah, I'll do it again.
Well, I hope he made his stop. We all missed Mr Duffy, don't we, on our commute home?
Absolutely amazing, wasn't it? And equally as remarkable, that train was on time. So, I mean, what more do you want? Anyway, we've all been talking about spring. I'm going to go into more detail about how exceptional it's been, but this is a picture that should really be in April, in spring, because this is Gauze coming out in Sheffield. This is a spring, early summer shrub, and look at Clifford's Tower. Has there ever been a display like this so early in the season? But it's pretty magnificent. I've been sent lots of pictures. As I say, I'll be looking in more detail on Look North tomorrow about this exceptional spell of weather, which is about to come to an end, as you might imagine, but addresses on your screen right now if you want to send us your pictures and get them on the telly tomorrow evening. So a very unsettled week to come, actually, and these very mild temperatures tapering off, I think, near normal temperatures from the middle of the week, and there's quite a bit of rain to come too. No sign of any settled weather. A couple of things to note. This system bringing a lot of rain on Wednesday morning, perhaps coming back on Thursday, but we lose the yellows and oranges and we go back to a sort of a tepid blue. It's not cold, it is colder, but temperatures, this means temperatures close to average, around 8 or 9. That's average for the middle of February. Nothing to report on the radar picture, which is good news. We will be looking up to the northwest later tomorrow, though, as a weather front brings rain southeastwards across Yorkshire. But this evening and overnight, fairly quiet. The odd spot of rain is possible for a time. Otherwise, we're looking at variable amounts of cloud, and not for the first time this winter, it's entirely frost-free with temperatures around 6 or 7 degrees Celsius. So tomorrow's high water time, Scarborough 104, Bridlington at 1:38. So tomorrow morning's not looking too bad. It looks mostly fine. Variable amounts of cloud. As the wind picks up, we should see some breaks developing, a few sunny spells, and through the afternoon, there's that weather front bringing wet and windy weather into the Yorkshire Dales, sinking into West and South Yorkshire sort of late afternoon. Not bringing a great deal of rain, but as the wind picks up, it's going to be quite unpleasant, especially across the Pennines for a time. But despite the wind, very mild. The average is 8. We're at 13 again tomorrow in Leeds, York and Doncaster, 55 Fahrenheit. Wet and windy on Wednesday, brighter and drier later. Showers, longer spells of rain on Thursday, but temperatures back to normal. Sunshine and showers as we head into the weekend. Amy, that's the forecast.
Who's Wendy?
Exactly, you tell me.
She's on later, thanks,
That slipped out, didn't it?
Now, that QR code of ours has worked. Some of you have been in touch following our top story about devices and screen time. Graham says parents have to take a level of responsibility for allowing kids on phones 24/7. Lead by example, he says. Set boundaries. Keely has also been in touch. Her son's at high school. She says the teachers expect students to use their phones for research, calculators, etc. Their homework is also set online. So she thinks teachers need to revisit their working ethics too. Chelsea says she believes there should be a phone control system called School Time to make sure schools stop the access for non-academic apps. Thanks for your comments. That's it from us. Good night.